Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Crypto Convo, series where we cover exciting news and price action in the land of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and crypto-related stocks. You guys, as all of you know by now, the crypto markets have been absolutely melting over the past couple of days, and unfortunately, that also means that many of our favorite crypto-related stocks that we frequent here on the channel are seeing some carnage as well. A lot of support has been broken, and it pains me to say this, but I do feel like there's more short-term downside ahead. That said, you guys know I will forever and always be a long-term crypto bull. I do still think the crypto markets have a very bright future ahead of them, but as I just said, I do feel like there's more short-term downside ahead. So I do want to give you guys some of my downside price targets and quickly go over what may have been behind this flash crash that we've been seeing over the past couple of days. Okay, so let's get into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, TradingView, where we will talk technicals, price action, and price targets on the following names today in this order, going down this oh-so-bloody, oh-so-red watch list. Kicking it off, of course, with the king falling off an absolute cliff right there. So we'll kick it off with Bitcoin. As you guys can see here, this price target is no surprise to you, but I do want to talk to you guys about why this is my target, why this is probably the floor, and why this is where I would actually be comfortable accumulating Bitcoin for the long term. Now, if this breaks, we'll talk about that a little more as we dive into the charts. Bad news if it breaks, but for now, this is going to be my price target, and a lot of these other charts are going to be looking pretty similar as well. Okay, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, because we got to touch on the king of the alts. The entire crypto market is bleeding out right now. So we'll quickly go over Ethereum as well. I'm not going to cover any of the other altcoin plays that we do talk about here on the channel occasionally, but we do have to touch on alts in a sense. So I do want to cover Ethereum, and then we got to talk about good old Doge, the pupper. So we'll talk about Doge, you guys. It's rare I talk about this. I've talked about it in the past when the initial hype a couple months back started building up around Doge, and obviously Doge has gone absolutely ballistic over the past couple of days, significantly outperforming the rest of the sector. It's almost as if all of the capital that's bleeding out of all the other plays is flowing into Doge. I have the most random people ever. Like, my real estate agent is contacting me, hitting me up and asking if she should invest in Doge, which I say definitely not. But that just shows you where we're kind of at in this crazy hype cycle that is Doge. So I want to give you guys, we're barely going to look at this chart, not going over technicals here, but I want to take a look at the chart with you guys and just give you guys a few of my thoughts about how bubbly Doge really is. Again, if you trade it, sick, should have traded a long time ago. But this is based on what the project is. It is the people's project, you could say that, but it is inevitably very, very bubbly, and I want to give you guys some of my thoughts around that. Okay, so those are the three cryptos we're going to be talking about, and then we will go into our poor crypto stocks that we will always love, but that again have seen some carnage. And these actually, like RIOT and Mar, did kick off the red. They were going red even before a lot of these pullbacks happened. Unfortunately, as Bitcoin continues to pull back, it only makes sense that Bitcoin miners like RIOT Blockchain and Marathon Digital do pull back more as well. So got the downside price targets for you guys there. Not looking too good, but similar to Bitcoin, I remain bullish. I remain very, very bullish on Bitcoin miners. So you guys know that, and it pains me to say this, but again, I do see more downside ahead. Closing it out with the two space plays that are unfortunately grounding. We're refueling right now. CWRK getting absolutely demolished today, closing the day down 25%. So CWRK, bad news, it just cut its valuation in a quarter. So a whole quarter, 25% again of CWRK just got chopped off today. Good news, it's very, very close to an overall line of support. So that is bullish in itself. Again, similar to a lot of these, if that support is broken, then that's no bueno. That's pretty bad news. But CWRK very close to support. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in regard to CWRK over the coming days. Close it out with alternate systems, or ALYI. Again, more of an EV play, and I will talk to you guys about why I do see some hope for plays like ALYI or other sectors if we do see capital start to flow out of crypto into other markets. And that's something I want to make very important right off the bat, is that although I am short-term bearish on crypto, that doesn't mean that there's not that capital that flows out of crypto won't be reallocated into other sectors of the market. So there's always a bull market somewhere, you guys. I do want to ask you, please let me know what sector you think capital will start to flow into. What sector you're bullish on? Is it EVs? Is it biotechs? Is it precious metals, gold and silver? Because that's what I'm getting bullish on as well. Overall markets, I am getting a little hesitant. I am getting skeptical. I do have some hedges in place right now. I do have some put options that I'm thinking about picking up. So please let me know down below in the comments. You guys love learning from you. Please let me know what sector you're bullish on if we do see crypto start to pull back, okay? Because again, there's always a bull market somewhere. There's a lot of hot money in this market, and money will still want to be put to work. There's more retail than ever. And again, this capital will flow somewhere. But where that is, I don't know. Please let me know down below, though. Okay, so before we do dive into the charts, and there's one article that just quickly, we'll go over a few key points here. Just very, very quickly go over some speculation as to why the crypto markets pulled back. What was the catalyst that led to that flash crash? So we'll quickly read over that. Bitcoin and crypto markets crash on U.S. crackdown reports. But before we do dive into this article, just to kick things off, I will ask you, as always, to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you got smoked today, just like I did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. Again, even if crypto isn't hot, you guys, that's the reality of the market sometimes is you got to adapt or you get slapped, okay? So adapt or get slapped. I will still be pumping out content regardless of what the crypto market's doing. Again, always a bull market somewhere, and I'm probably going to be saying that a lot over the next few days. And again, just working, like you guys are going to be working on this with me. I'm just working on finding what the next hot sector is. Because again, there's always a hot sector somewhere, and there's always ways to make your capital, even if it is hedges, even if it's plays like VIXI, which we talked about, or put options. So again, I'll let you guys know what I'm doing. If you want to know exactly what I'm, like literally exactly what I'm doing though, first link down in the description, you will find my complete portfolio daily newsletter. That is $15 a month if you want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I do update every single trading day during market hours. And along with every update, I send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. So it's all call options, put options. Again, put options might be coming a lot more common as we move into this next cycle of the markets, okay? So put options, stock positions, crypto positions, what I'm trading, when I'm taking profits, when I'm establishing a new position. I do update that every trading day, once again, during market hours. And then I do send out a newsletter explaining my thoughts, rationalizing my trades, why I'm trading what I'm trading, throw some charts in there, throw some price targets in there. And again, this is in real time if you guys don't want to wait till nighttime, because I live in Hawaii, so it's difficult to pump out videos. I do post videos pretty late at night for most of the world. So if you guys want those real-time updates during actual market hours, really means a lot. Work hard on it. And again, even if times are a little gloomy, there's always a bull market somewhere, okay? So $15 a month, first link down below. It means a lot if you do. If not, no worries at all. Let's just kick it off with the fundamentals right now, and then we'll dive straight into the charts and talk strictly technicals for a while, okay? So Bitcoin is experiencing a massive sell-off, shedding almost 15% in the last 24 hours, the biggest intraday drop since February. The drop appears to coincide with reports that the U.S. Treasury is planning to tackle financial institutions for money laundering carried out through digital assets. So this is kind of weird. This seems like some FUD just because, again, money laundering is still the far majority of money laundering is done with the U.S. dollar. Cryptocurrency is a far younger space. So it is easier to regulate just because, again, you're not going to, especially the U.S. is not going to criminalize the U.S. dollar, obviously. So it's still in its early stages, which makes regulation a little easier from the United States perspective, from a federal perspective. But that said, it's also done because everything's built on the blockchain, and the blockchain is like the most trackable, most trusted thing ever. So this is a little weird. I do think this is kind of like negative. So I said FUD. That's pretty much just negative hype. But this is a very real one right here. So data website CoinMarketCap cited a blackout in China's Xinjiang, please correct me if I probably said that wrong, region for the fall, which allegedly powers much of Bitcoin mining, the process by which new Bitcoin entered the circulation. Bitcoin's flash crash saw a new record in liquidations, resulting in more than 1 million positions being wiped off the books. This meant that 10 billion in positions were liquidated, according to Bybit. Other cryptocurrencies have also plummeted. So there was this blackout in China. I believe this was caused by a coal mine exploding. So one of the largest concentrations of Bitcoin hash power and Bitcoin mining in the entire world, which is in this region of China, did experience a blackout. So from a fundamental perspective, I was talking to the Discord about this in the live chat. So shout out to the Discord as well if you guys want to hit up the Sunday, Friday live chats. It's interesting because from a fundamental perspective, if Bitcoin miners are mining less Bitcoin, that does actually reduce the hash power, and that innately makes the network, the Bitcoin network, because that's what Bitcoin miners do. They are paid in Bitcoin in exchange for validating the blockchain itself. So it does make the network less secure if such a large player in the mining space did see a blackout, but it also means that less Bitcoin is entering the circulation. At that point, it's all a matter of supply and demand, just scarcity, which is always been my core argument for why Bitcoin is a valuable asset. It's the only absolutely scarce digital asset at that scale in the entire world, and that is its innate value prop, is just the absolute scarcity. Okay, so again, this is kind of weird. This does seem like some negative hype. There's a lot of other just like MIDI, like we're seeming pretty toppy. Things were slowing down for a while. Volume was reducing. The Coinbase IPO was kind of a buy the hype, sell the news event. It was so highly anticipated, and then once it actually came out, then I think, again, buy the hype, sell the news, classic case of that. So that is just kind of what's going through my mind right now. Let's talk about these price targets though. Okay, so Bitcoin has been in this massive ascending channel since this high back here, since we started this rally in mid-December. Okay, so high really ripped up at the beginning of 2021. January rally, we're all ripping, everyone's happy. And since then, we have been in this massive ascending channel, slightly megaphony, slightly tilted, not quite parallel, but call it an ascending channel regardless. Unfortunately, over the weekend, you can see this big old red candle of doom right here. We did break short-term support. So touch point right here, touch point right here. This is a very significant line of support. Broke that. All traders are looking at this. Once we did officially break that, you can see we just fell off a cliff, bounced back up. TA 101 used previous support as new resistance, bounced down. And just for future reference, you guys, this happens almost every time you see a flash crash. You can go back in the books and look at every time this has happened. You see a big move down. You see a little dead cat bounce. And I think it's very likely that again, you'll always see this relief rally, this is exactly what it is, a dead cat bounce. So fall off a cliff, you see a little bounce up, perfectly tested support on a few 4-hour candles, but it almost always happens this way, and then you see another big sell-off. Okay, so I do think that we will see another pretty significant candle to the downside. Downside price target is to test the long-term line of support. Okay, so using this base area over here prior to that big pop, this low right here, you see a few touch points here. I think traders are going to be eyeballing this, and that would take us down to, again, it's all dependent on when this line of support is hit. It works both ways. Line of resistance, line of support, it's all, my price targets are always going to be dependent on when these lines of resistance or support are struck. April 26th just happens to be where I drew this. It's just kind of organic to me. April 26th, my price target is going to be just under 47K. So price target for Bitcoin on the downside is going to be $47,000. Now, if we do break that, then I wouldn't surprise me at all to come down to about $41,000. Okay, so 41.5, maybe 42K, conservative 42K to test the initial high. Similar to a line of support, if we break this, it's very, very common. It's not like, especially in rallies like these, it's very common to see the initial high of the current rally act as new support and act as a new base. Okay, so if we do break 47K, if we do break support, my next target is going to be about 41 to 42,000, and at that point I'd be very, very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin. Even here, from a long-term perspective, I'm personally comfortable accumulating Bitcoin, but with just the way things are going right now, I do think it's likely that Bitcoin actually does come down to $41,000 or $42,000 to test the initial high of the rally. Use that as new support. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for investor sentiment to regain. We're not just going to come down here and like rip back to the races. That's not how this works. We're probably going to come down here. We'll probably see a nice bounce up here, come down. I would guess we're coming to 41, 42K, as I've been saying. See a nice bounce up there, probably go sideways for a little bit, do a little zigzag motion, ultimately sideways, capitulating, again, regaining that investor sentiment, that steam, and then we'll see the next leg up of the rally. If this is broken, then maybe we do see like a retest of 20K, so 2017's high. Maybe we do come down to 27K. I think 20K, especially considering all the fundamentals are in line. Again, all the institutional interests, so much big money, understanding the actual value proposition of Bitcoin in our evolving world. It would surprise me to see a $20,000 Bitcoin. I think, personally, again, just my gut telling me this, I think 42K is pretty likely. And at that point, I do think we could start to see that sideways movement until we ultimately, again, regain that investor sentiment and go back up. All right, so that is Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ether. So Ether, I mean, in this classic ascending channel, almost perfectly tested this middle line, this center line of resistance on this lower tier ascending channel. It's not, again, right now, Ether is technically looking like it's kind of printing a head and shoulders pattern. We did reach a low over here. This is technically not a higher low anymore. I mean, maybe very, very barely a higher low, but again, it's so rare you see a collapse like this. So see like a big drop, like it's rare you see a fall off a cliff, not followed by another fall again after this bounce. So we saw the little bounce. It's very likely to me that Ether will once again test the overall line of support on this uptrend. Very strong trend line right here again. Touch point, touch point, touch point. I do think it's pretty likely that Ether will in the near future come down here to test the overall line of support. That would take us, again, April 22nd, just kind of a few days out from now, because these things happen very fast. Things fall, you guys, a lot faster than they can appreciate in value, okay? So be careful about that. People are scared. Investors are scared. That leads to a lot more sell volume. And again, things can fall a lot faster than they can appreciate in value. Trust me, I've learned that many times the hard way. So price target for Ether, again, if this target is hit in the next few days, April 22nd, that will take us down to about 1850. If we do break below that, again, same principle as Bitcoin, to test the initial high of the rally. So the initial high would be, I'd pretty much count, I mean, you could almost count that as it, but I would count it right here just conservatively. You can see a lot of touch points here, like resistance here. Kind of a significant floor and ceiling for Ether would be at about 1350 or 1400. So price target for Ether, just kind of looking at how things are unfolding right now, is going to be $1,400 on the low end, like $1,400 on the low end, okay? And again, this will probably translate to many of the other altcoins. Link, EOS are all getting smoked right now as well. So just keep that in mind. And then we'll go on to the MVP, the good old Doge. So Doge, although it's been a meme forever, not forever, but for the past few months, Doge to $1, Dogecoin to $1. It's interesting to me how much steam, I don't know exactly why this has happened as well, but it's interesting how Dogecoin just popped off this weekend. I don't know. Again, I was looking around. I cannot find why this happened. I don't know what the source, what fundamental catalyzed this movement. But again, Dogecoin to $1 has been a thing for months now. So again, it's just interesting that it popped now. But this is a classic case of the bubbles. Got the suds here. So I do think that at some point this will pop. Top side target for Doge is because everyone thinks it's going to get to $1. You gotta play game theory right there a little bit. So I do think that maybe Doge gets to like 60, 70 cents, but all the smart money, all the big money that's in Doge, I think there's one whale that owns like 25% of Doge. If Doge gets to 60, 70 cents, you're not going to chance it. If you have a massive stake in this. I believe Doge is eclipsed XRP, the fourth largest crypto. I'm not going to look at the market cap right now, but Doge's market cap is like 20 billion plus right now. For a coin to the people, but also for literally what was made as a meme coin. I remember when Doge came out, it's literally made as a meme. That's why the dog is the is the mascot. So again, money to the people or a meme coin, regardless of what it is, I do think it'll pop. I do think a lot of retail is going to lose a lot of money. So if you got in down here, this is not financial advice, but if I got in down here and Doge is where it's at right now, I'd pull the plug personally. So again, be careful with this, you guys. If you trade it, to each their own. It's all good. I respect whatever you guys are doing, but very dangerous, and this looks super sketchy. So let's move on to again, poor Riot and Mara. So Riot and Mara in a very, very obvious downtrend. Riot has officially broken support here. This red line could be printing a bull flag. That is the most optimistic scenario for Riot right now. A bull flag. Again, as the name implies, a very bullish pattern. Parabolic move up followed by descending triangle. It's a very, very large descending triangle for Riot right here. Best case, if Bitcoin does bounce, keep in mind, you guys, this is maybe Bitcoin does recover. It's just not looking like it from a technical perspective. Investor sentiment is pretty negative. There's buy the dip everywhere, but again, it's difficult to say what's going to happen with Bitcoin. In my eyes, it looks like there's more downside ahead. So if Bitcoin is seeing more downside ahead, it only makes sense to me that Riot will ultimately see more downside ahead. Price target for Riot on the downside is going to be to test overall support, touch point here, touch point here. Overall support, which is going to be around $35. So call it $35, just play conservative. If we do break $35, I think it's very likely that Riot will ultimately come down here. Again, same as Bitcoin, test the initial high of the current rally. So this high right here is at about $27. So I think low end estimate for Riot, and again, maybe unless the 2021 bull market is over for now, price target for Riot on the very low end is going to be about $27, $28. At that point, I'm personally very, very comfortable accumulating Riot shares. Calls, definitely not. So I'm definitely going to be very, very cautious on calls from here on. But shares at $28 for the long term, I'm very comfortable accumulating Riot positions, okay? So Mara looks the same. Mara actually looks a little worse because Mara did break a very significant line of support today. It did close the day above this line, which is very important, but it did close a 4 hour below it. And again, just because Riot and Mara have surpassed Bitcoin in terms of percentage gain. Like, keep in mind, you guys, we were talking about Riot and Mara at like $1 to $2. So in terms of like a multiple, Riot and Mara have significantly outperformed Bitcoin. I had a few people again in the Discord talking about why did Riot and Mara fall even before Bitcoin did, and it's because Riot and Mara have like 100x. Okay, so that's very important to realize. From a percentage gain basis, Riot and Mara have been crushing it. Unfortunately, the king and queen are slowing down a little bit. Again, that's the game. It sucks to say because these stocks have done it so well. Very thankful to good old Riot and Mara. But again, you have to adapt or you get slapped. And Mara is not looking good right now. Again, we did break support. A lot of traders saw that break support. Sentiment overall is negative, and it does make sense to me that similar to Riot, Mara will probably come down to test overall support as well. So Mara's initial high is actually around $14, which is a lot more bearish than Riot, of course, but maybe we see a base around here come down to like $26. But honestly, you guys, it going off the logic, that same logic of using the initial high, that would take us down to like a $15 Mara. So if we do see a $15 Mara, then I'm a massive buyer of Marathon Digital at $15. But even at like $27, it's the exact same thing as Riot. Even at $27, I'm a buyer personally for the long term. Okay. Again, though, I want to make this very clear. Calls very sketchy right now. Okay, especially in this market when it's so indecisive. Moving on to CWRK, we'll close it out with good old ALYI. So CWRK has come very close to testing resistance today, and I'll actually consider this support. So I'll actually consider this support because you can use this touch point here, this touch point here. This is like almost not even, you almost can't even count this just because it was eaten up so quickly. So I'll call this support right here. You got multiple touch points, and CWRK is coming very, very close to support, which is actually what I kind of had anticipated last week. If you guys were watching if you guys watched the CWRK analysis last week, said it was very likely we would ultimately come to test support just because CWRK, we're losing volume, a lot of sell pressure. And although we're seeing volume, again, volatility works in both ways, especially with small market caps like CWRK. CWRK currently sitting at a market cap of only $75 million. There's so much upside potential here when it comes to the long term. So again, CWRK, honestly, tomorrow, unless we significantly break this, then CWRK will very likely come down to, again, the first high of the rally, which is going to be right here at about 90 cents. So 95 cents, $1. If CWRK comes back down to $1, I'm 100% a buyer of CWRK. Unfortunately, that is going to be another like 30% drawback from here. So again, because crypto is looking bad, because I do think there's more downside in the entire crypto market in the short term, I do think it's likely that CWRK, similar to all the other positions that we just talked about, does break support, but does ultimately use the initial high of the rallies as a floor, as that base layer of support. So CWRK, 95 cents, $1 just to play conservative, not getting greedy. CWRK at $1. I'm a massive buyer of CWRK because, again, they're getting into NFTs. They're doing very cool things in the space. Small market cap, the smaller the market cap, the less capital inflow it takes to appreciate the price. Once crypto does start running again, I think CWRK has a very, very bright future ahead. So CWRK at $1, massive buyer at $1. Again, maybe we see a bounce here, maybe we see a bounce tomorrow, but it's just, again, taking everything into account right now, things just feel bearish, okay? So close it out with alternate systems, or ALYI. Hopefully the saving grace. Looking at this chart, you guys, this just from a general perspective does not look good. But as I was saying in the beginning, you guys, there's always a bull market somewhere. The reason we saw Doge rip is because there's a bunch of kids who want to get rich really quick. There's a lot of, not just kids, there's a lot of people in general. Again, my real estate agent contacted me. And again, all love to everyone who trades Doge. It's all good. But that is just the byproduct of what happens when so much new retail money floods into the market. No one wants to wait. No one has patience. And again, even I struggle with patience a lot of the time. But that leads for very dangerous waters. That leads for massive volatility. That said, money still wants to be multiplied, especially in this current market environment, faster than it ever has, and that's why I like ALYI. Again, we spent a lot of time talking about this on the live I just recorded yesterday in the Discord, the live chat, and ALYI is like my moonshot. You guys know I call it the Mars shot. It really is that. ALYI is currently sitting in a market cap with a share price of only 5 cents, a market cap of $5.9 million. This thing could 200x from here. So my price target right now is $1, which is a 20x. I'm sorry, $10. Ultimate price target is $10, which would take alternate systems to a market cap of $1 billion. Keep in mind, you guys, Nikola pretty much had as much physical product as ALYI did. They got to $20 billion. ALYI if they execute, if they do branch into Africa, if they do sell more of their bikes, if they get production running. And again, they've been so good at releasing a consistent amount of good news, of pretty good news. They got the bike, they got physical product, they have orders. I need to see more physical product. I want to see those orders fulfilled. I want to see everything they're talking about doing actually come to fruition. Again, summer is supposed to be big for them in terms of actually fulfilling those orders and actually getting things moving. So I'm very bullish on ALYI. Again, from a fundamental perspective, it's not out of the realm of possibility at all, in my opinion, for ALYI to see a $1 billion market cap, which is still tiny in the grand scheme of things. So a $1 billion market cap, again, although it's big to an individual, even not to many individuals out there, all the billionaires out there, it's in the grand scheme of the greater markets, it's so small. And that's what leads me to believe that ALYI, again, maybe it takes 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, a year, maybe it takes 5 years. But ultimately, I do think that if ALYI, unless they completely flop, which I don't think is likely considering they just have so much momentum right now, I do think that it's very, very possible that ALYI does ultimately see that $10 share price. We'll get to, like, let's get to 10 cents. I've been saying, once we can break 10 cents again, if we can break double-digit cents, I do think it's only a matter of time before we break ALYI's yearly high, and then before we ultimately get to $1. If we get to $1, that would take us to a $100 million market cap, puts ALYI on the map. The more we increase in share price, the more eyes are going to ultimately be on ALYI, and that just creates the snowball effect, right? Because the market cap's so small, it does not take much at all to move this thing. That's why $1 billion, like a $1 billion market cap, is tiny. And with so much capital out there, especially if crypto starts to pull back, which again I do feel like is almost inevitable at this point in the short term, I want to see capital flow in other sectors of the market. Bull market somewhere, always. So again, will it be ALYI? Will it be EVs? Will it be cannabis? I don't know. These are just the targets I'm looking at. I'll let you guys look at these for yourselves. If you guys want to screenshot this real quick, I do feature I pretty much feature this exact chart in the newsletter every morning, and pretty much just repeat exactly what I said, because again, ALYI is just, this is the ideal trade in a 2021 market environment, in my personal opinion. Okay, so I remain very bullish. I'm not selling any ALYI. And I do believe that ultimately we will hit $1, $5, $10, maybe even more in the future, okay? So we'll call it there, you guys. Again, I want to make it like, I'm asking you guys, if you haven't already, please let me know down below. What is that bull market right now? Where will the capital that's flowing out of the cryptocurrency sector flow into? Is it puts? Is everyone just going to be shorting? Is it going to be cryptocurrency? Or I'm sorry, not crypto. Is it going to be EVs or electric vehicles? Is it going to be cannabis? Is it precious metals? Prepared for any scenario. Again, you guys, if you do want to know exactly how I'm trading, first link down in the description, $15 a month. This is exactly how I'm trading pullbacks. Done it before. Again, I do have some puts in mind right now that I'll probably drop tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Again, it's going to be interesting trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to mix it up. If you guys have been around for a while, you know that we used to talk about a lot of other stuff than cryptos. And if cryptos are pulling back, I don't just want to talk about cryptos every day. Again, I want to talk about those other exciting sectors, because I do like focusing on revolutionary sectors, revolutionary markets that are changing the world. And again, is it EVs, cannabis? I don't know. We'll see. And this week will be very telling in terms of what direction I'm probably going to go personally, and I will start making videos around, okay? So please let me know down below not only what market you think is going to do well in this kind of cyclical, this just change, this market rotation, the sector rotation, I should say. And again, let me know what you want to see, what content you want to see on the channel if we're not talking about crypto so much. So I'll catch you guys downstairs in the comments. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.